should I vote yes or no?
No.
I should vote no. Why?
Cyberbullying is a practice that cannot be criminalized because of the free speech rights, and to criminalize cyberbullying would fly directly in the face of the First Amendment, which it limits or restricting the speech rights of the person is unconstitutional. That would be breaking the privacy of the person.
Okay, so you cite the First Amendment. There are, so says the Supreme Court in the United States, limits to our freedom of speech. For instance, libel, slander. You can't incite riot or fighting words. You can't say something to someone that would cause them to commit a crime. So, if someone is being cyberbullied, okay, if that causes them to respond by committing a crime in some way, well, it's a crime, it's criminal. If you, that's the language. So if you cause someone to commit a crime through something you say, then you are not protected under the First Amendment. Sorry? Not to my knowledge.
So what crime would they ever commit if they
Like if they got mad and they murdered something.
I'm not gonna go kill someone else.
Would you be protected under the First Amendment rights? Are you asking?
Well, we're talking about fighting words, okay? We're not protected under the First Amendment. We would be talking about a crime committed against the person who used that language
Well,
and
what we're saying is
brought
that
about that response.
it was our freedom of speech to supposedly create a site that I wanted to. I just made it fun.
Did you create the site? I'm sorry, the group within the site?
I was accused of it.
But it wasn't us.
It was not.
Gotcha.
It was me. No, it's not.
Didn't you admit to police that you did?
Yeah, but we went over that and you said say no. I asked you.
Is this like teacher-student now?
Yeah, this is
That's information I have in front of me that was like a legislator. Oh, let's keep moving. I just want to know what you think about the law.
Well,
You say it's unconstitutional because it restricts your freedom of speech.
I back that.
Is the law just?
No.
So why then is it unjust? Why is it not fair?
It violates that right.
Okay? Should we just get into the talking points then? Okay. Let's move on.
Okay, so most instances of cyberbullying are harmless because most people bully someone to humiliate, embarrass, and insult them.
How can you prove that? What do you, is this studied? Is this an informal observation? So what is your source of this information?
Or I think it was Forbes.
It really was.
It really was. That was the website.
It's a website. Like you can post things on websites.
But
No,
that's
I mean,
a
like,
secured site. That's real. That's
No,
Forbes.
it's not like which I don't know.
It's like a real one, like Forbes
website.
magazine, like their website.
Yeah, no, they're right. I mean, Forbes has the domain name Forbes.com. It's their site. It's secure. They're the only people who can post things to it. But did they themselves do the study, or was it a study that was posted to their site?
It was them posting about a study done.
So it would be.
The magazine, we just read the website. So is that?
We didn't quite break down that study,
Okay.
but it's there.
We just know
Go back.
that studies show that more often than not, there's no like physical threat.
Okay. Except in this case, because a physical threat was made
Not by any.
by Chris.
But we didn't make it.
Correct.
No.
But if you're saying most of the time this doesn't happen, physical threats
Well,
aren't made,
So
what about the times where a physical threat is
That's our
made?
third talking point. We're on our
Okay.
17. Stalking, harassment, and threats are already illegal, and in the cases that, one of the cases that Mary Brown brought up, they were arrested under those,
Arrested and charged as
and
well.
charged,
This went to
yeah,
court.
under those,
What eventually happened in that case?
Hold on. That was weird.
Hold on. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
that could be a violation of First Amendment.
In that case, the one that Mary Brown cited, the person was arrested, the person was charged,
Kind of vague.
but the case was dropped, the case was thrown out, and even after the case was thrown out, this person still, like admitted to doing what they did.
She did not physically do
Like, you're saying there's already laws for like
There's already laws to protect people from,
physical.
and when you were
like,
talking about like violating the First Amendment, in the law that they would make, that if it violated the First Amendment, that they would have to drop the case, but there,
Well, if the, like the circumstances, if the case didn't fit under this, if
yeah,
for whatever reason, like the state's attorney, the district attorney, whatever, you would call this person in the state. If they charged them under this when the circumstances of the case didn't quite line up with the law that they were charging them under, then of course the case would be thrown out. But if you're saying that in most cases, people don't threaten people physically online. There are laws, like for instance, the one we already talked about, against things that are spoken and or written. Again, I say libel. It could be written, slander, spoken, fighting words is something that is spoken like person to person. So if you incite someone else to commit a crime.
even if it's said online, it is in the law, that if it's said online, it should be carried out as a threat, even if there is no intent to actually carry it out. If you'd like to see that. I have it highlighted. And underlined. This one is
Okay, so
underlined.
under threats, any person who willfully threatens to commit a crime,
Means
result in the
electronic
death,
device.
rape, bodily harm, when murder, means of electronic communication, Okay. So you look to other laws
To protect.
that would be just as effective in preventing this.
Yes, because we do not need this law to protect people from threat, harassment, and stalking. Those will cover.
You're saying we already like have
We
laws
have
that-
laws that will protect people enough. We don't need another law that's gonna criminalize the innocent, because how do you know that someone isn't going to say something, like, let's say they tweeted something mean about that person, but they weren't the one that was constantly bullying them, and then something happened to that person, they get blamed, like, and it wasn't even about them, like, there's that line of, it's not needed, unless something happened where someone's, like, saying stuff that directly relates to the person, sent to the person, and then that's covered under all of this, so it's not a needed law.
Okay. So, can you speak to just a little bit more, clean it up to bring it home? What are like the negative consequences of me voting yes on this bill? Why would that be a bad thing?
It
In
would
addition to violating the First
criminalizing
Amendment?
against the First Amendment, it would criminalize people that didn't have, the intent to get into something. I think The only,
wasn't a threat.
the law that would be made would have to not go with any of the threat, harassment, or stalking laws. It would have to be something where they were just bullying them, didn't threaten them in any way, or harass them in any way, which would be difficult to avoid all of those and not be against the First Amendment.
Well, let's be clear, you can be charged under, multiple, but just by doing one action, you could be charged under more than one.
So we're saying like it is criminal
Well,
to like threaten or harass someone, but it shouldn't be criminalized just to like tell them they're not pretty.
That's not threatening them. That wouldn't be harassing them if she just said it once. She's not constantly.
Kind of for like following her.
But,
Repeated phone calls or makes repeated contact by means of electronic.
but if I as a state legislator, get up once in front of my constituents at a town hall meeting, for instance, and I say something, very mean, very nasty about maybe one of my colleagues in the state legislature, in the state assembly, if I get up and say that once, that's spoken.
Is that type of bullying though?
Well,
No,
that's
it is
slander. It's the
slander.
point that you get up and you say it. Julia's point is that if I say someone's not pretty once, that shouldn't be a law. But if I get up and say something to defame, hypothetically, someone in the state assembly, one of my colleagues, then I am not protected under the First Amendment. That is slander. That's spoken.
Yeah,
And I am
but
not
then that
protected.
technically is correct. So that's already taken care of. You do not need the extra law that is covered by all of the stuff that we already have.
If there was a cyberbullying law, there'd be like no kids left that like aren't criminals because everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I will.
All right.
So we'll just ignore the last 30 seconds when Julia just poured
Yeah.
cold water on her whole argument.
Okay.
I think the ladies did a very nice job. Can we get a
Okay.
round of applause?